Hey, what's up, man? I'm Zero Blues. Got this funky haircut. It'll be alright. Hey, check it out, man. I'm talking about what I believe tonight. Just doing a little video. Ain't got it pre rehearsed or nothing. I try to be real. And I'm just gonna let it flow how it comes, you know what I mean? I ain't trying to be cool. I ain't trying to get subscribers. I ain't trying to sell t shirts. If you like, at the end, you like, subscribe, all that stuff. I ain't trying to make no money doing this. I could care less about money. As long as I have the necessities. I'm a rubber tramp, man. I'm a rubber tramp nomad. Uh, you know, I don't believe all the lies of society. I know there's good and bad people, but man, our society is just brainwashing us, man. And so today, I'm going to tell you a little bit about some of my beliefs and what's real to me. And you know what? I ain't trying to make you believe what I believe in. Uh, you know, I guess by most people would say I'm a Christian. Well, unfortunately, I would like if when I said I'm a Christian, if it if when I said that you thought what I meant it to mean, that'd be cool. But most people, when they hear the word Christian, they think, oh, that means you're two faced. You believe in God when it's convenient. You're a hypocrite. Um, you know, if I'm the same color as you, or if I believe what you believe in, then you're a Christian, right? But if I'm not what you are, if I'm a homosexual, a Muslim, a Jew, black, or Mexican, or if I'm not what you are, then that's where your Christianity ends, right? Because so much of that has gone on. I'm not saying all Christians are bad. There's a lot of awesome people that are real, and none of us are perfect. I'm way far from perfect, like I've said in some of my other videos. I still smoke. I cuss. Sometimes I cuss when I'm trying to tell people about Jesus. But you know what? I can relate to people that some people can't, because I've been through there. I'm not saying I'm a tough guy or a badass or anything like that, but I've lived through some crazy stuff. And it's weird how it happened because I was raised by a man who never had a ticket in his life. He was a cop when I was real young. My mom, a good lady. My dad was very abusive, but I used to think I hated him, but he's gone now. And he also had a lot of awesome things about him. And how do I know what made him like that? Uh, he wasn't really, uh, he was more emotionally abusive and psychologically abusive than he was physically. He was physically, I mean, if he did some of the stuff now, then he'd be in prison. And, I used to have a lot of resentment towards him and my mom for that. But you know what? Nobody's perfect, man. They also did a lot of good things for me. And I moved out at a very young age, 13, 14 years old. When I was 14, I had my own house, company truck, went to the bar every night with my boss. Not my boss, but some of the workers. The boss was a Mormon dude. But be cool to see him again someday. And then I got stopped. I did a couple Brodies in the parking lot, and a Mormon parking lot, as a matter of fact. We were doing a side job. We built a hospital. And every night I went to the bar with the guys after work, and I got stopped by the cops, and they asked me what I was doing driving. Where's my license? Where's my insurance? Registration? I didn't even know what any of that was. I showed them a letter from my dad saying I was on my own, and I found out years later his way of thinking was maybe I'd find out how hard it was and I'd come home, but I never did. And I did a lot of things I'm not proud of, and I never was much of a thief, but I did a lot of other things, and I ain't gonna glorify all that. But I've been around some notorious people, and I've done some really bad things to some bad people, and you know, and but you know what? That ain't what I'm here to talk about. That don't deserve my time because that ain't who I was, and it's not who I am. Uh, I guess what I want to tell you, if you're watching this, you know what? If I would have believed the things my dad told me, basically, I need another cigarette, huh? Basically, if you ain't like him, you're wrong. If you're this color, you're this. If you're this color, you're that. If you got an earring, you're gay. If you got tattoos, you're a scumbag. If, Harleys are scumbag. I mean, he like a cowboy Archie Bunker, but then he also, and this guy had the work ethic that you wouldn't believe, and self discipline, and his word was his word. But anyhow, what I'm saying is, I've been through some crazy stuff. I've been stabbed, I've been shot, uh, uh, you know, and uh, and I've been around some really what society would consider bad people. Well, you know what? Like a song that says, can you remember? Can you remember what it's like to be real? And what I'm talking about, when we were, when all of us were 3, 4, 5 years old, I believe that's when we were real. Because you could take a kid from royalty, a kid from the projects, a black kid, a white kid, Chinese kid, Mexican kid, it don't matter. But put them all together, and they don't care about how much money you got. They don't care about your bank account. They don't care about, your dad got more credit cards than mine, your house bigger than mine. All that stuff that society teaches us matters. And hey, uh, there was a time when I thought I hated black people. I wasn't raised that way, but I was in prison. I'm an ex-convict. It's very racial in there. When I got out, I remember my daughter made a comment, Mom, she saw Usher. He's a music guy. Pretty cool dude, actually, but Grandma, isn't he cute? Man, I went through the roof. What do you mean? He's black. Man, that's nonsense. And then I met a really cool black dude, a retired Air Force dude, and I told him, I said, you know what, I think I'm prejudiced. He said, why? And I said, well, when I see 3 gangbangers, black gangbangers, I won't pick them up. He said, well, hell, I wouldn't pick them up neither. But the thing is, I've had people that look like gangbangers feed me. Black people, Mexican people. I've had homeless people feed me. I've had, and I've had, I'm glad I went through some crazy times. I lived down in Mexico in a very bad area. I never got jumped. I never got hurt. God protected me even when I knew nothing about God. And all my life, when I was a little boy, my mom, we'd go to Sunday school with her. And when we get home, my dad would make fun of us, it's like we had to go, but then when you get home, he make you feel stupid for going. Oh, you went and saw them fake hypocrite Christians, and did they slap you on the head and heal you? And, I wonder whose wife the preacher's with, and, all this negative stuff, all he had to say was negativity and don't take crap from anybody. We couldn't wear gloves because real men's supposed to have rough hands, and couldn't wear tennis shoes because those are for pretty boys. And I mean, you have to be a tough guy. And one time he had me fight this kid I had a problem with. I got my butt kicked. I didn't know how to fight back then. Now, guess what? I can't fight. I'm going to be honest. Because if I got in a fight with you, all you got to do is get me out of breath, dance around me for about a minute and a half, and then you can just push my ass over. You know what I mean? I ain't got no business. But the thing is, I never was a tough guy. I was no different than anybody else. In fact, there was a lot of people tougher than me. But I did a lot of mean stuff. You know what I mean? And, you might hear me cuss on here. You know what? I'm not cussing at God, and I'm not cussing at you. I know I got to watch my language here on YouTube. But sometimes, I use a cuss word or something. I'm not saying it's right. I'm not saying it's wrong. I think it's just a word. If I'm cussing at you, then I think it's wrong. If I'm cussing at God, it's wrong. I don't think I'm ever going to be like Mr. Rogers. I don't think and hey, Mr. Rogers, awesome guy. But what I'm saying is, I don't want to wear a suit and choke myself with a tie. And when I pass by somebody broke down, just pass on by. You know what I mean? I see a lot of people doing that with that fish on the back of their car. It's all about glory, glory, hallelujah, praise God, praise God. We got 8 different jello molds and God bless you, brother. But then when they see someone broke down, they just pass on by. Not all of them. I've met some really awesome people that go to church. That'd be like saying all white people are this or all black people. That's nonsense. And I'm not going to, but I'm saying that's what turned me off. I see these TV evangelists, if you'd like to meet the Lord, just in 1995, he'll be in town on Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, for an extra, $29.99, You can sleep with your neighbor's wife and still get to heaven. Get on our platinum plan. I mean, it was all about money. It was a scam, you know. And that's what I thought all people that were Christian were like. And it ain't, man. And there's some people. Let me tell you something. I don't. God didn't force me to believe in nothing. I decided what I believe in, and it ain't my job to make you believe in what I believe in. If you're a Muslim and you're cool to me, let's have a barbecue. If you're a Jew, you're black, Mexican, you're from the barrio, you're from the project, I don't care. If you show me respect, I show you respect. I'll show you respect until you don't allow me to. But and how come you can't be a Muslim and I can be, and we can have hey, like I always say, Baskin and Robin got 31 different flavors. You can like chocolate, I can like strawberry, and we can still sit down and have some ice cream together. You know what I mean? You can be a brain surgeon, I can work at Jiffy Lube. How come we can't have a barbecue together? And see, that's separation, and that's what our society wants. Uh, you know, some guy can own $1 million home and be high class. You know, good guy in society's eyes. Go through a divorce, his wife get everything, and he puts a backpack on his back, and he's gonna hitchhike across the United States. Now he's a scumbag. The same guy that had no problem for all them years. Now maybe he's getting woke up with flashlights in his eyes. Asked to empty his pockets. Asked to empty his bag. You know, people drive by and throw something at him. You know, or because hey, he's not this. You know, what's known as a good guy. You know, and I'm not saying all people that have money are bad. I've had people that have money help me out too. There's good and bad in everything, but society wants us. If you're black and I'm white, oh no, I can't hang out with you. That's stupid, man. That's like I'm not really into football anymore because I can't watch all the games. But it's like if I like one team and you like another team, so we hate each other. Now, come on, man. We both like football. You know what I mean? Um, and so then what happens is what happened with me. My dad filled my head with all this stuff. I heard all this negativity. They put a label on me, and I started believing that's all I was worth. I deserve being in prison. I deserve. I mean, I'm a scumbag. That's all I'm worth. And then you get out of prison. Hey, I'm a felon for the rest of my life. When you get an 8 or 10 year sentence, 2 year sentence, it's a life sentence. Because the rest of your life, you can't be a Walmart door greeter because you ain't good enough. You're a felon. You can't talk to kids at school about how to stay out of gangs and stuff because you can't pass the fingerprint card. You can't volunteer at a nursing home because, you were a felon in 96. And that's ridiculous. I'm sure most of us have done something that we're not proud of. I've done a lot I'm not proud of, but that ain't who I was and ain't who I am. Now, let me tell you something. For 50 years, I would try to believe in God. And I thought maybe I'll fake it till I make it, To me, what if it's all like Santa Claus, I mean, people want to control you. They want you to believe this, want you to believe that. How come Jesus is always white? How come Santa Claus is always white? I mean, there's all kinds of other races out there. Where's their Jesus? Where's their Santa Claus? And then later on in years, I found all our DNA goes back to Africa. The white supremacists don't like that, I had friends who were white supremacists, Or not friends, but I didn't have a whole lot of friends. I had a lot of acquaintances. The thing I'm saying is, we're all people, man. And we need to remember what it's like to be real. Go back in time to you were 3, 4, 5 years old. Try to remember who you were then. That's when you were real. And that strung out prostitute at some time was somebody's little girl with ribbons in her hair. That wino, that guy that's jacking cars, or that thug or whatever. If we could remember what it was like when we were 3, 4, 5 years old and younger, that's when we were real, man. But then we learned, oh, well, they're a different color. I can't get along with them. Or they look like this, or they like this music, or they're not what I am, so they're no good, And then people got real good about, acting like they're not prejudiced, or and all different races. Most people are prejudiced. But you know what? That's nonsense, man. There's one race in my mind, and it's human. And wouldn't it be boring if all the flowers were the same color? If all dogs look the same, I mean, man, if you separate yourself from other people because of their cultures or their beliefs or their sex or their music preference or the color of their skin, you're missing out on a lot, man. I have a brother that's probably a millionaire. I don't know. He's very wealthy, and I have a lot of respect for him in some ways. Got a great work ethic. You know, this guy, he succeeded in everything he set out to do. Became a success. I went the opposite way. For him to get back at my brother, he showed my dad, you watch, I'm going to be successful. And he did it. In my mind, he kind of forgot where he came from. You know, if you're not in his tax bracket, he don't want to talk to you. If you've had some mistakes in your life, he don't want to talk to you. And but hey, I also have a lot of respect for the dude. He's a good dad. He spent a lot of money on shrink work, got his head worked out, and you know, I mean, but I could focus on the bad and just hate him for that. What if everyone focused on the bad about me? I'm far from perfect. Done a lot of dirt in my life. Uh, you know, I say I don't like that, but I was doing it the same to everybody else. Anyhow, check it out. I don't care what religion you are. I decided to follow Jesus Christ. You know, I don't consider myself a Christian. I consider myself a man of God, and that's what I believe in. But you know what? I never sat down at the picnic table and Jesus, God, showed me the film strip and said, "Hey, this is what happened." I decided what I wanted to believe, and I put my faith in it. And eventually, something happened that made me believe that's what's real. But you know what? Who am I to make you believe in what I believe? Excuse me. As long as you're not hurting kids, you're not hurting innocent people. And I really don't. It's your. If you want to worship yellow Volkswagens, hey, that's your business. If you want to have sex with goats, just don't. Just leave my goat alone. You know what I mean? And but if you're hurting innocent people, if you're a predator, if you're hurting kids, and then I have a problem with you. You know. But other than that, you can be Muslim, you can be black, you can be whatever you want to be. We can live next door. We can have barbecues. If you need help, I'll help you out. Hopefully, you'll help me out. And let's respect each other, you know. God didn't tell me I had to believe in what I believe in. So if God, being God, and maybe you don't believe in God, hey, that's your prerogative too. Your relationship between you and God is between you and God. And that's what I'm saying. You can be an atheist, and we can still have a barbecue together. I'm not going to shove what I believe down your throat. But for me, this is what's real for me. And something happened a few days back, a couple weeks ago, that made me know in my mind that for me, that's what's real, you know. And but at the same time, I'm not going to do like these other people. And because I decide not to get high anymore, or you know, I have certain beliefs, I'm gonna all of a sudden, if you do this, oh, you're no good. You're and separate myself from you. Nah, man. You know, and the my God that I believe in, who I believe is the only God. But hey, maybe I'm wrong. You know, if something else works, you go for it. But this is what I believe in. When they asked him what was the most important thing, I can't quote scripture like Jimmy Swaggart or nothing. But check it out. Someone asked him, "Teacher, what's the most important thing?" He says, "To love your God with all your mind, body, and soul." Basically, I'm not got that a little, you know, it ain't worded like King James or something. I'm getting the I'm getting you the gist across, you know. And I ain't trying to be, I ain't claiming to be no theologian or nothing. But check it out, teacher. You know, he's teaching people, right? And they ask him, "What's the most important thing?" And this is what he said. He basically he says to love your God with all your mind, body, and soul. Don't put anything more important than God. Well, that makes sense, right? I mean, that's kind of common sense. Whoever God is, if He created you and the earth and everything we know and don't know, and that scientists can't even figure out, and you know what? A lot of science explains God. You know what I mean? Why can't God use science? I mean, He's probably a hell of a scientist. You know, he probably knows a lot more than a scientist. So check it out. If this guy created a guy, woman, whatever it is, you know, God, it's we can't. The reason You know what I mean? And it's like an ant on an ant hill. They can crawl over your foot, they can bite you, they can whatever, but they don't know. They can't relate to you. You know, they don't know what you think, what you like, you know, who you are, what your name. They can't relate to us. So you know what God did is, you know, He stand on top of the ant hill, and He wanted to communicate with the ants. So He sent an ant down, basically. You know, and this is an analogy. You know, this Zero's analogy. It probably means zero to you, but anyhow, like I say, this is my Dr. Phil. I'm just putting it out there. Maybe someday I'll care. If somebody will care, you know. You stand on top of this ant hill. I want to get a message to them ants. I, they can't relate to me. I'm gonna send down an ant, a part of me, you know, as an ant, to tell them what's up. Right? That's like what God did with Jesus, basically. Well, first of all, if you stand on a black ant hill, why would you? And you want to send a piece of you down to relate to them ants, get your point across. Well, why would you? If it's a black ant hill, why would you send a red ant? That's going to cause a hellacious problems right there. So, believing that Jesus was white in the continent of Africa, or you know, over in Egypt, most people were black or very dark complected, and I don't think He would send Jesus in the form of a white man. But hey, if you believe that God's white, then you're more likely to bow down to me, right? And that's what that's all about. You know, the guy that wrote "Liberty and Justice for All" had his slave sitting next to him when he wrote that. You know, in Columbus, you know, he had the Christian flag on his sail. You know, white sails with big red cross on them, and come over here, and you know, when we come over here, you know, I tell you what, you guys are savages, you Native Americans, and you're either gonna be like us, and you're gonna act like us. Send your kids to boarding schools, and you can see them once or twice a year. If they speak their native language, we're gonna kick their ass. And if you don't do that, we'll send the soldiers in and slaughter your asses, rape your women, kill your children. By the way, we have church every Sunday at 9. You're welcome to come. That ain't Christianity. You know, that's what people call Christianity. But my God, I don't believe would do that. That fool over there, Jonestown, had everybody drink that grape Kool-Aid with arsenic in it or cyanide, whatever the hell he did. I don't believe my God would do that. You know, the guy that blows up a federal building, kills a bunch of innocent people. I don't think my God would do that. That's people, man. That ain't God. Stop putting your faith in people. Put your faith in God. Because people, about 98% of the time, 99% of the time, are going to let you down somehow. But you know what? You ain't perfect neither. And neither am I. So check it out. We're all striving to be better, right? And I think most of us, the baddest dude on the prison yard, the baddest dude in the Vadio, the baddest dude in the projects, whatever, most of us want to be loved. And most of us, when we were 3, 4, 5 years old, we were all the same. Society teaches us to judge people for a different color. You know, they look different than us. They don't like the same music. You know, they wear different clothes. I mean, man, if you ain't what I am, you're wrong. You know, and that's stupid, man. And you're missing out on so much. You know what? When I come back from Mexico, I was living in the cab of my truck for a while before I got my camper. And I hate to say it, most of the time when I ask these white people that look like these good people, you know, I'm not saying all of them. There's good in every race, but a lot of times they would say they couldn't help me, or they'd tell me to eat my dog or something. I asked some black guy, and he'd probably give me a sandwich, or take me into their house and let me take a shower, or you know, I've had other homeless people help me. I've had drug addicts help me. The thing is, we're all people, man. And so what I'm doing now, you know, in this church I'm going to, there's some awesome people in there. The preacher's awesome. I think they could be doing more. And so I was letting that, you know, oh, they're not doing it the way I would do it, and being all negative about it. But you know what? There's like the preacher's wife told me one time, you know, they got way more money than I do. I don't know if they're rich, but I mean, she come from a pretty okay, well-to-do family, and you know, she's never really been poor, and so I told her one time, oh, rich people, they don't need God. Their God is on the fives, tens, 20s, and 50s, and $100 bills. That's their God. And it hurt her feelings. She said, there's good rich people too. There's rich people that need God. Well, that's true. And you know what? What they taught me was that building ain't the church. The people are the church. And there's all different kinds of people. So God's got all different kinds of soldiers. I could go into a house where people are smoking a pipe, getting high or drinking, and I can kick back. They know I'm not a rat. They know I'm not a cop, and I'm ain't going to talk to the cops. I don't hate cops neither, as long as they treated me with respect, even when I was a bad guy. Hey, I'm doing something wrong. You busted me. This is part of the game. My job to get away, your job to catch me, right? As long as you don't treat me like I'm less than human. What I'm saying is, man, when you fill out an application or you go to the hospital or whatever, sometimes the hospital needs to know your race because, different races have different, they're prone to different health problems. But man, why does it, how come on all, like a job application or anything else, it says, are you white, Hispanic, black, Pacific Islander, or other? Man, mark other, and then next to it write human. There's one race in this world, and it's human. We're all human. Just like when you look at a dog, they're all dogs. But there's Chihuahuas, there's Pit Bulls, there's German Shepherds, there's Poodles. They're all dogs. It would be boring if they all looked the same. God ain't stupid, man. If you live where it's hot as hell, bunch of sun, and you need some darker skin, and maybe you need to be a little bit muscular or something because you're doing some hard-ass work, And if you live where it's cold, maybe you don't need so dark a skin or, what I mean? He changed stuff up, and plus he didn't want to be boring. I mean, look at the crazy animals we got, He probably kicking back, hey, check this out. I made this eel, man. It looks like a snake, and it can electrocute a water buffalo, now I'm going to make this giraffe. He's got a 6-foot long neck. I'm going to make this, a bat that looks like a rat, but it can fly. I mean, he made all kinds of crazy stuff. He just wasn't, you know what I mean? He was creative, and he didn't want to get, he didn't want to get bored. You know what I mean? I don't know. Maybe that's how it happened. Hey, look, I made this human being, and he's got blonde hair and light skin. Hey, check this out. I'm gonna make one that's got darker skin and curly hair. I'll make this one with slanted eyes. But we're all human. But society teaches us. See, and I thank God. You see these people, they want to send their kids to the best schools, right? I'll send my kid to Harvard or Yale or whatever. My God sent me and I went to Harvard. You know why? I learned stuff that a lot of people didn't have the chance to learn. I've had all different sorts of races help me. I've had them kick my ass. I've had them be my friend. I've had them eating some awesome food down in Louisiana, up in Minnesota, all different nationalities, Chinese food, soul food, and every race is awesome about something. And if you just say, well, my race is this, and that's the heck with all these other races, then you're missing. That'd be like watching the same movie every day, all your life. It'd be boring as hell. You're missing out on so much, man. There's comedy, there's drama, all this different stuff. Man, live. Get to know other people and love people. And you're still going to get pissed off sometimes. You might feel dark or whatever. But you know what? And if someone ain't like you, maybe instead of judging them or being pissed off at them, just like, hey, bro, what's up? Or, hey, ma'am, how you doing? Maybe you see a homeless person. Don't matter what color they are. Hey, man, did you eat today? You want to kick it with me and eat some and listen to his life story or something? Man, I know that God's real now, and I'll tell you about that sometime. But I know for me, God is real now. I used to be embarrassed to talk about God because that meant I was weak. I damn sure wouldn't let you see me carrying me a Bible because then you think I was a sissy. Man, now I think different. If you standing up for what you believe in, I don't care what religion you are, and you're trying to do what you think is right, I respect you. And I don't care if you're one of them guys with a red dot on your head from India, a turban, or whatever. But if you are trying to do what you think is right, and it might be not be popular, If you're not hurting people, you're trying to care about people, you're all right in my book. I don't care what religion you are. Now, I decide to believe what I believe in, and that's what's right for me, you know. Uh, but I can still love you no matter what you are, you know. A lot of Christians, you know. I was at a guy's house the other day who had a barbecue. They live in a mansion, man, and very nice people and stuff. I don't know why two people need a mansion, but anyhow, I guess they got a good deal on it. I mean, whatever, that's what they want, you know. But we're having a barbecue, and something about homosexuals came up, you know, and homosexuals are abomination to the Lord, and blah blah blah, all this stuff, you know. And I said, so if we're kicking back here eating, and two homosexuals walked up, and they said they were hungry, would you feed them? He said, oh no, I kick them off my property. You know, it's disgusting. It's an abomination to the Lord. Blah blah blah. Well, you know what? He has every right to believe that, but I don't believe that God would kick those people out. I think he would let them eat. I think he'd kick it with them. Now, that doesn't mean he's going to join in on their sexual affairs, or he might tell them, but he ain't going to force them to do nothing. He's going to tell them what he thinks, and it's up to them what they choose. The other thing is, how am I going to tell you because you decide to have sex with another man or another woman or whatever? Maybe that's not my choice. But you know what?